Happy Tuesday, Flosstube. Hello, crafty friends. How's everybody doing today? My name's Caroline. Welcome back to my channel. This is a podcast, Flosstube, all about cross stitching with some knitting today. I have a little bit of knitting to share with you later today. Did I tell you my name already? My name's Caroline. Welcome back. I'm recording here in London, Ontario, Canada, with my dog Luna at my feet, and I'm here at work at the workshop, which is Evertote, where we make project bags for crafters and are the exclusive sellers of the Leo&Roxy Floss Co products, both cotton floss, cotton overdyed floss, and fabric, linen, and Ada. You can find me on Instagram at Off the Grid Needlearts and also at Evertotes. Also on Facebook, we have a Facebook group called Friday Off the Grid, where you are welcome to share your stitching. Friday nights, we generally are a little bit more active. We try and encourage a nice chunk of party time on Friday night, where you share your starting photo and hopefully up to 6 hours of progress on your work in progress, and then a photo at the end when you're done. I generally tend to save my after photo because then I feel like I have something to surprise the group with on the next week's Flosstube. So, and I, like many people, I can't participate every Friday, but it's just, it's a nice group to be in, and people share their stitching all week long. Somebody's always having a stitching party. So there you go. Okay, so I have, it's already almost 4:30. I actually recorded an introduction. I sat down to record a Flosstube video this morning, and I have 2 minutes. I have 2 minutes of recording, and then I was distracted by something else and had to get to work. So it's been a busy day, but I finally had a few moments to sit down with all of the things that I wanted to share with you today and take a little bit of a coffee break. So let's get to it. The first thing I want to share with you very quickly is just a little bit of Evertote show and tell. I had mentioned last week that we are working on getting the Rejoice Evermore Leo&Roxy Floss Co conversion into the shop, and we did that late last week. Hannah got that loaded into the shop. We have the charts now in stock. This is the chart. That's the original cover model there. Brenda's is beautiful. And my friend Ellen of Crash Test Dummies, Ellen Reed, and of course Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour on Flosstube, she did a Leo&Roxy floss conversion. She has a fairly hefty stash of Leo&Roxy flosses, and she purchased this chart at one of our vendors at Stitch North. The name of the shop is called Pastime Pieces, and I think, is it Blenheim, Ontario is where her shop is. She has a brick and mortar shop, Pastime Pieces. The owner's name is Marlene, and I believe she definitely has an online presence as well. So if you live in Ontario and you are looking to do a little bit of local needlework store shopping, I can recommend Marlene. I know that many of the stitchers who were at Stitch North really enjoyed the items that she had in her shop. So Ellen picked up this chart from Marlene, from Marlene's shop at Stitch North, and she said, I want to start it right now. I need to start it right now. And she had happened to pick up a piece of linen from the Evertote vending table at Stitch North, and sort of everything just fell into place. She had some colors in her stash that she started right away. She started immediately, and we knew it was going to be good right from stitch one. Everything was just, you know, a really great fit. The linen that she used is a new colorway to Carrie's dye lineup. It's called Porcelain, and we do now have some I have some 46 count yardage available in the shop on its own in quarter yard cuts. But the rest of the yardage of porcelain that I have some 36 count, 40 count, and 46. We have bundled it together with the conversion just for the next few weeks so that everybody who would like a chance to stitch this conversion has a chance to also get the linen as well. If they want. There's all kinds of different options. You can just get the floss, you can get the linen and floss, you can get the chart and the floss and the linen, all kinds of different stuff. So anyway, I said this was gonna be quick, didn't I? So I'm gonna speed it up here a little bit and end it so that I can get to my personal crafting. So the chart, here's the floss pack here. The reason I wanted to show you the floss pack inside the packaging is because I wanted to show you how we send it to you. So anything that's over, you know, I think 12 to 14 skeins of floss, we add in a little key ring. Hopefully you can see that through the plastic there. Can you see that key ring there? There we go. See that? Now these things are really handy. They twist open, they unscrew. And I buy them on Amazon. You can buy them in packages of 50. They're just called flexible key rings. That's all they are. They're very inexpensive, but they're very, very useful. So we put the conversions on, the larger conversions we'll put on a ring. And then we include the roadmap for the floss. So it tells you which colors are required to substitute for different things. Now, Ellen changed a few of, like, she used 2 different blues for different things. So we have included notes at the bottom here that help figure out how Ellen used the floss, if that makes sense. I think it does. So anyways, I'll also insert the listing photo so that you can see what those flosses actually look like outside of the package while I'm just over top of my voice here. So you will be seeing that right now. And that's it. So that's Rejoice Evermore, Leo&Roxy Floss Co conversion, and chart by the one and only Brenda Gervais of With Thy Needle and Thread. It's a good one. Okay. Only other thing for Evertote was I had a question in my comments section from last week, and I just answered her, but it was a great question because I didn't give you this information last week, and it would have been nice to know, right? This is, once again, this is the Rosewood Manor Winter Quakers Leo&Roxy Floss Co conversion. We don't sell the pattern. You can find the pattern quite easily. I think it's still available easily on 1-2-3 Stitch or Traditional Stitches. I know that Janice at Traditional Stitches had it in stock. I'm not sure it's still in stock. However, lots of different places online to find it. I forgot to tell you what fabric count it was. The model was stitched on a 28 count piece of linen, and it's 2 strands of floss over 2. So that's the coverage that's on the model, okay? So let me just bring it up close again so you can see what I'm talking about. That's what the coverage looks like with 2 strands of floss over 2 on 28 count linen. And the beauty of this particular conversion, I love this one up here. Just that bright purple color there, it's so pretty. I know. Okay. The original design called for Valdani floss, which, again, gorgeous colors. Valdani comes in a 3-ply strand. And Karen's directions, Karen Kluba, the designer of Rosewood Manor, her directions state that you're supposed to use, and this is how you're supposed to use Valdani. You pull those 3 strands directly from the ball that it comes off, and you clip it, and that's what you stitch with. You stitch with all 3 strands, so you're not separating out floss. So that the original version calls to be stitched on 28 count linen. The beauty with using a 2-ply floss is that you can go to a smaller linen count. So you can stitch the winter Quakers on a 36 or a 40 count linen using just 1 strand of floss over 2, instead of having to, you know, use 3 strands or 2 strands of floss on a 36 count, which is kind of fun. The only thing to keep in mind is that, in particular with this chart, and I'll show you, the snowflakes, these ones here. So all of these individual snowflakes in here, those are kind of like backstitched. They're not cross stitch. And those are done with 1 strand of floss. So the rest of the chart, all of the cross stitch is done with 2 strands, but those individual snowflakes are done with 1 strand. And that was why, way back when I originally introduced this, I recommended that maybe you not go smaller than a 40 count, because the 1 strand of floss for those snowflakes will get, I don't think it will define those snowflakes really well, because it is cotton, right? It's not as thin. And then I had a customer who really wanted to stitch it on a 46 count, and actually she had a genius solution. She was going to use the Leo&Roxy floss for all of the cross stitching, but then for the 1/1, the snowflakes, anything that needed to have, anything that if you were to stitch it with 1 strand on 28 count, she was going to use the Oversoie 103 silk, which is a single strand of silk that is thinner. It's quite fine. And so anything that was going to be done with 1 strand, she was going to use the 103 white silk in order to stitch the snowflakes. And then all of the other floss she was going to use was going to be the Leo&Roxy 1 strand. So the different shades of blank slate that I have, I've been sending for winter Quakers. I have some really dark 36 count and 40 count, and I've been choosing the lighter shades for the winter Quakers conversions, because there's 1 floss in the conversion pack that shows up better on the lighter colored linen, and it's this one here, this one right there. It's called Throwback, and that floss right there shows up a bit better. The Throwback is used a lot in this chart. All of this stitching in here, that's all Throwback as well. And so it pops off the linen just a little bit more cleanly on the slightly lighter shades of blank slate. You know, I say this all the time because it's an important thing to know and to keep in mind, is that there's 1 person dyeing all of the linen and all of the floss for Leo&Roxy Floss Co. 1 person, a human, and she's not a machine. And not only is she not a machine, but these are, you know, chemicals and like little science projects. And so each batch is unique. Each batch is different. So she can dye one, you've heard the expression dye lot before, and you'll see stitchers posting pictures of, you know, I stitched this flower with this floss and I ran out, so I bought some more of the same kind, but it looks a totally different color. What happened? Why isn't it the same color? Well, that's the reason. Dye powders change even from, you know, 1 month to the next. Your next order of dye powder can be different. You can be off by, you know, the most minute amount of powder in your, you know, weighing on the scale for the, and it can turn out differently. Anything can happen, and it can just be a Tuesday and you'll open the dye pot and you will not get what you expected. So that's why we will sell things called OOAKs, which are 1 of a kind, because sometimes, let's face it, all of the time, you're going to end up with something beautiful. And if it's not beautiful yet, it can be made beautiful. It can be over-dyed into something else. So, but it generally can't be recreated because you don't know what happened to cause this particular reaction. So that's what's happened with a project I'll show you later on. But anyways, that was a long-winded discussion again about, but that's why when you look at the linen photos on the website, when you're purchasing linen, we've tried to take Hannah has done all of the photography for all of the products in the website, on the website. When you'll see a variety of shades of color in the linen, like we have a new gray linen called Catnap. We've had the Ada out for a while. It was the gray Ada that I used to stitch my Michelle Bendy Flamingo Duo chart on. We now have that color available in linen. And so she's taken a photo of all of the different counts to show how there's just a variety of shades. And sometimes it's a bit of a surprise what you get, because again, what you see on the monitor, your monitor is probably going to look a little different from my monitor, which is always actually really quite funny, because Hannah will be working on her computer and she'll come in here and she'll want to show me something. So I'll bring it up on my laptop and she'll say, that looks completely different than what I've been looking at. So it's a very difficult thing. And this is why local needlework shops are, you know, they're so valuable and wonderful. And if you have one, if you have a local needlework shop, then go and, you know, support them so that that we can keep them in business. It's wonderful to touch and feel these things. And you know, the best I can do is show you as well as I can on video what the different things look like, and you know, hope that you like it as well. Okay, so I said I was going to be brief about the shop. I should have known better. Okay, so okay, the projects that I brought two projects that I have with me, but there are two projects that I left at home, and I'm really wishing that I had brought the Amtrak with me. Oh, hang on. Here it is. I'll make sure I get it the right side up. This is the way that I'm stitching it, this way. Now, this cover photograph is actually quite blurry, so I can bring it in nice and close, but, well, actually, I guess it's not too bad, is it? You can see it. So I have spent quite a bit of time on Amtrak, and I wish I'd brought it, because I took a photo of it. So I'll show you a photo here of where I was. This was my Whatever Happened To project last week. Now, spoiler alert, I do not have a Whatever Happened To project today, because I have one in mind, but I knew that if I pulled it out to show you today, I would lose the momentum that I have going for Amtrak. So bear with me. I'll be back next week with a Whatever Happened To. But I really feel like I accomplished quite a bit. So you will have seen my before picture. So now I'm gonna put in my after picture right here. And you can see that I did a fair bit of work in the left corner. So now I will, I'll take the picture down now, and I'll bring you back to it is quite poor. I'm looking at it. It's quite fuzzy. It's not really in focus, and you'd think for a cover model they would have, you know, whatever. I digress. Okay, so this section here, I finished it, and so I think I still had 3 flowers left to do. So I finished all 3 of those flowers. And then I finished down, I think I finished 1 or 2 more of these little motifs in here. And I brought this far left border, I brought it down to here. And then I finished the gray border. Oh, I left the floss at home again too. Oh, you guys. Okay, what I'll do is, I will when I am editing this video tonight, after I get home, because the floss is at home and I'm hoping this video will be up before I get home. When I get home, I will edit in the information on the floss. I remembered my knitting. I didn't remember the floss. Anyways, I completed the borders, the gray individual inside borders that happen. Is that the right side? That's not the right side. It's over here. Down in here and in there. And then I started that teensy weensy little ring border that goes along there. Started that. So I was feeling really quite good about how much I accomplished on it, and it was really fun. It was really nice to get back into, but I've left it on my floor frame at home. I'm often asked what kind of frames I use. My favorite floor frame, the only one I've been using for the last, it's probably longer than 10 years now. It's made by a company from Calgary, Alberta, and their business is called Hearthside Craftworks, and they are a very small business. They don't know who I am at all. I hope that I've sent a lot of business their way over the past 10 years. The quality on their stands is really quite excellent. They're very, very well made. I know Ellen bought a freestanding lap frame from them last year for her birthday, or maybe it was Christmas, I don't remember, but she was very pleased with it. They also have Q-snap accoutrement. You can, it doesn't have to just be a scroll rod. You can hold a Q-snap in them. You just have to buy the separate little bits and pieces, if you know what I mean. Anyways, Hearthside Craftworks, I'm not affiliated with them in any way. Again, they have no clue who I am. Beautiful products, very well made, very, very small business. It is a scroll rod system, but I've been using, actually no, my Amtrak, I did sew that onto the what's it called? Webbing, the webbing that's on the scroll rods. But I use my handy clamps on there as well, all the time. My lap frame is a Kay's Creations. And again, I've been very pleased with it. I don't think it's quite as well made as the Hearthside Craftworks. In fact, it would be very difficult to compare. The Hearthside Craftworks is that good. It really is that good. But the Kay's Creations is very good. I like it. And I'm not about to buy another one from Hearthside because I have one that works suitably fine for my purposes. And that's the lap frame that I use. And I carry it all over the house. I stitch in bed with it. I stitch downstairs in my chair. I just, I put it on top of a pillow so that it's high enough for me, or I will stitch on it at the table when I'm hanging out with friends. So those are the two frames that I use. So yeah, Amtrak. I'll bring it next week so that you can see it in real life, because it's not quite the same. The other project that I left at home that I'll insert a photo of here is my birds from Bernard's. That is such a tongue twister, that title. Birds from Bernard's Books and book, pardon me. This is a modern folk embroidery charity stitch along. 50% of the proceeds of that chart are being donated to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation in recognition of my husband John running the New York City Marathon in aid of the Brain Aneurysm Foundation. So we still have a ways to go, only because I have not gotten the ball rolling yet on the Instagram auctions that I would like to do. Those are coming. I had a very nice email from a viewer who has some special charts, who she's going to send them to me, and I am going to auction them off with maybe a few other special bits and pieces from around here on the workshop. So if you follow me over on Instagram at Evertotes, Where are we now? June the 7th. June the 7th. How about we aim to have our first auction up by the end of next week? So next week's floss tube, I'll give you more information on how they'll work. And I probably won't do more than 1 or 2 auctions a week to make sure that items go out in a timely manner. Basically, I don't handle any of the money, just to be completely upfront for these auctions. How it works is that the item, see, I told you I was gonna tell you about it next week, but why don't I just tell you about it right now? I put a photo up on Instagram of the item or items together that are being auctioned, and then stitchers can bid, crafters can bid on that post their dollar value, right? So we'll go into more details next week about that. But the winning bid, there's a specified time when the auction is over. The winning bid directly donates that money, the winning bid, to the charity. So you don't give me the money, you give the money to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation. We will provide a link that links it into John's fundraising efforts. And then once the winning bidder has provided a receipt emailed to me, proving that you've made the donation, then we mail the auction item to you. That's how it works. So it's a pretty fun way to raise some money, and the stitcher who wins generally gets something quite nice in return. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Oh yeah, my stitching. I already put up a photo of it. So anyways, as you can see, I think I've put in 5 or 6 more lengths of floss. Now when I say that, I think it was Paula. Paula, did you ask me this? When I say I put in a length of floss, Paula wanted to know, do you mean 1 strand or do you mean all 6? I mean 1 strand of the 6. So I put in maybe 5 or 6 strands of floss into my project. I am seeing all of, and if you follow my stories on the Evertotes Instagram page, I try to post in my stories when people tag me if they're in the stitch along. There is a hashtag for the stitch along. It's a hashtag stitch MFE for FORBA found. And I'll put that information in the description box below in case you can't remember, or you forget, or you want to look it up, anything like that. So I try to post those in my stories because I find there are a lot of people participating in this stitch along, and everybody's stitching is different, which is one of the one of the really wonderful things about Jacob's charts. They're so versatile to what you like and what you want to do. So if you want to put 10 colors into your pattern, have at it. If you want to stitch, you know, purple on pink, then, you know, it's going to be amazing. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you've got in your stash, or whatever, you know, you see somebody else doing and you want to copy them because, well, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, then, you know, you can do it. And so I'm seeing all of these really amazing versions of this singular pattern, and because so many people are doing it, it's really fun. It's really, really, really fun. And so it's, I know I haven't done as much stitching on it myself as other people have, but I'm really enjoying this stitch along. I think so far, this is the most I've ever participated in a stitch along that I've hosted myself. Yeah, stitch alongs with me are very informal. So, and it's really nice. So I'm having fun. Anyways, that is my Birds from Bernard's book. Next up is my Isabella's Heart by Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery. I know, and I had this comment last week, and it's true. You could play a drinking game. Every time I say Jacob, everybody takes a drink. Jacob or Ellen, those two. Or Carrie, Leo&Roxy. How many times am I going to say Leo&Roxy Floss Co, which is a really long name, and when you say it a lot, when you're editing these videos, you think, good night. How many times are you going to say that? So anyways, you can take a swig of coffee because if you had anything stronger in your cup and you played that drinking game, I think you'd be under the table. Isabella's Heart by Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery. Good gravy. I love this piece. Now, you know, here's the thing. I actually worked on this quite a lot, but I feel like you can't really see everything that I did because I did a lot of little bits and pieces here and there to sort of fill in all the gaps of parts that weren't quite complete. And I don't know, it doesn't look like it did much, but I really did. I'm not going to point out every single stitch that I put in because I know I did it. But anyway, I love it. So this is Isabella's Heart on a 28 count blank slate with the called for Leo&Roxy flosses. Phthalo red is the darkest red, flamingo is the pink, and antique wedding dress is the ecru. 2 strands of floss over 2. I love it. Love it. Okay, I am going to show you my knitting next so that we'll end with a cross stitch whip that I'm completely obsessed with. But my knitting whip, let me show you my bag. This bag here, this is my, at the moment, one of my favorite knitting bags, and it was made by my friend Cheryl, and her shop name is called My Needle Crafts. I'm gonna bring that close up there, My Needle Crafts. And I'm getting another Cheryl bag this coming weekend. I like to buy bags from Cheryl because they're different from the bags that I make. And I like Cheryl, I like to support her shop. But she makes different bags than I make. This one has some, it's like a doctor's bag. I think it's called the Knit Night bag. She has some structure in the top of it. So there's actually a metal opening, so it sits open like a Mary Poppins bag, right? That's not going to do it now because my hand is kind of supporting it badly. But anyways, so this, I got this for Christmas, not this past year, but the year before. I asked for it, and Sarah bought it for me and gave it to me for Christmas. So it's a favorite. And inside my lovely knitting bag, I have my Caroline shawl. And, oh, you know what? I don't have the yarn tags here. So you'll just have to trust me. It is a Malabrigo, is that right? No, Madeline Tosh, and the needle is stuck in it there. Twist Light, and it's in the colorway Jade. And I tell you, the colors that I have been working with on my whips lately are making me so happy. Everything is just so bright and colorful, and it's just, I love it. I just love it. So this green, it's called Jade Light, no, Jade, just Jade, and it's a Madeline Tosh Twist Light. I'll try to remember the ball band next. I don't even know where the ball band is now that I think about it. But anyways, this is my second skein. My first skein is well underway. So once I get a little closer to first skein being done, I will add in the second skein and start alternating rows so that if there's any difference in dye lot, it'll sort of be hidden by the altering there. So this is the Caroline shawl, designed by my friend Josh Mol, who lives in the Netherlands. And you will remember, if you've been with me for a while, I made Josh a quilt. Josh has neurosarcoidosis, and it's something she lives with every day. She's still living her life one day at a time, and I check in every now and then. She checks in with me every now and then, and she's a special lady. She designed this shawl a few years back now. It's called the Caroline shawl because she designed it for me. And I had trouble with this shawl picking the right, because I wanted it to be something that I would wear. I would make and I would wear because it's a special pattern, you know? And my first version just wasn't quite right. So then I went with the green, and then I wasn't quite sure because I thought maybe the fingering weight, it's a fingering weight yarn. Maybe it's a little bit too thin. I like, you know, a chunkier shawl. But then I thought, no, keep going. And I did, and now I love it. So here's where I'm at. Now when it's on the needles and it's all kind of, you know, it's not blocked or anything, it's hard to see. So it alternates a very simple lace pattern. You can see there, that's the lace pattern there, with a garter stitch section. And I've just finished this lace section, and I'm working on the next garter section there. I put in a progress keeper where my knitting was when I got back to it. So the last time I shared it with you on the podcast, I was down here, and I picked this up right when I went home with COVID. So that was, I don't remember, a month ago? It's a month ago? 3 weeks? A month? Boy, time has flown. But anyways, I started this when I got back to it when I was sick, and it has just been lovely. So whatever happened to Sarah's Afghan? Well, I'm glad you asked. Don't worry. Will it be done by the time she graduates? Only time will tell. I'll bring it next week because I was going to have two what happened to next week, and one of them is going to be Sarah's Afghan. Spoiler. So I'll share it next week. But that's what's happened to it. It's at home and it's not finished, but that's okay. So that's my Caroline shawl. Now it's really funny because these colors that I'm just absolutely loving at the moment. My last cross stitch whip to share with you today. Remember the color of the linen? Right? So there's something about this color at the moment. I should just tell you, my hair. I got caught in the rain twice. I got caught in the rain big time last night, like torrential downpour. I just come out of the grocery store with a huge bin of groceries, and it was late, and it was bucketing. And I mean, I was late, and I was the one who had dinner in the grocery bag. So there was no waiting around in the store because I had 3 hungry people waiting at home, and I think it was already 7:45 at night. So I couldn't wait because I couldn't tell when it was going to stop. And the car was not parked it wasn't parked close to the door. In the 20 seconds that it took me to run from the door to the car, I was soaked, completely soaked. Like I had to change my clothes when I got home, and my hair was completely soaked through. Now, when I woke up this morning, it was of course dry and it didn't look terrible. And I thought, well, I can't wash my hair every day because otherwise I end up with a lion mane. It's just frizzy. Curly hair people, if you know, you know. Yeah, humidity and washing it every day, 2 very not good things. But anyways, it looked not too bad. So I thought, okay, well, I can get away with it. I don't have to fix it because I can't wash it again. And then it was raining when I went to work, and Luna would not go to the bathroom. So I'm standing around outside, didn't have my umbrella, and I got rained on again. So that's why we have the situation that's happening up there right now. But anyways, I didn't figure you'd care too much, but I thought maybe I should say something. This green I love it. I love it. It's so fun. Somebody asked me what color my couches were. They said, what color are your couches that's going to look good on? Because they also had purchased couches around the same time that John and I purchased our couches. If you didn't watch last week's episode, we bought our couches about a year after we'd gotten married. So we've had these couches since 1997 or 1998. We got married in 96. And they are a dark olive green. So it's not a bright green, it's a dark green. And, oh, I'm gonna run out, hang on. Okay, there we go. And so this is just a really beautiful bright pop of color in the same family. So, can you see my stitching? Oh, look at that. So this bottom corner is done, completely done. There, look at that. I know I said I was gonna get to here, but you know, my eyes are always bigger than my stitching time. So, but man, was this fun. John and his dad were watching the French Open final on Sunday, and I just loaded up my needle and enjoyed sitting there with them, because I like listening to tennis, but it's not something that I have to watch. Whereas, what else have we been watching lately? Severance? Is it called Severance with, oh, what's his name? The actor who was in Parks and Rec. Oh, it'll come to me later. But anyways, that show is quite something. Anyways, it's called Severance, and it is very unique, and I cannot look away. I can't stitch while we watch it. It's impossible. So tennis, I can stitch. So I'm usually happy when there's sports on TV, and the Nicholas and John can watch what they're watching, and I can stitch. So that's it. That's all I had to share with you today. That was my last whip. So I didn't give you any details on this, did I? This, let's circle back around. This is the, it's a one-of-a-kind linen. It is now sold out. I'm sorry. Carrie is trying to see if she can recreate it, but there's something she's got that's similar, but again, that's going to also be a one-of-a-kind. That's why these one-of-a-kind linens, they just come the way they come. This is a 28 count, one-of-a-kind Leo&Roxy Floss Co linen, and I'm stitching 2 strands of floss over 2, and I'm using Pippy and South Beach. Those are my floss colors there. Let's get that to focus. There. I love that combo. It is beautiful. Beautiful. And it makes me really happy. And the chart is by, are you ready? Get your drink ready. Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery, and it is called Halsingland Blommer. I love it. I love it. I'm thrilled with it. I cannot wait to have this cushion on my couch. It's going to be gorgeous. Oh, it's going to be so gorgeous. Oh, I love it. Okay, that is it. That's all I have. So, it is Tuesday, and Monday, I really was hoping to have Monday as my floss tube day. I would prefer to have Monday as my floss tube day. But the way that, I'm gonna blame Chit Chats. Now, if you don't know what Chit Chats is, and you have a small business in Canada, and you haven't heard of Chit Chats, they are a shipping company, a third-party shipping company, and Chit Chats takes all of our orders and distributes them for less money. So it is the reason why I can send packages. Now, let me tell you, Canada, sending things within Canada, very expensive. Doesn't matter what I do, it's still very expensive. But sending things to the United States, or even some international, some overseas countries, Chit Chat's shipping allows me to have affordable international shipping. So I can send things with tracking to the States for far less money than I could through Canada Post. So I highly recommend looking into, if you have a small business, looking into Chit Chats, CHITCHATS. And if you have any questions about Chit Chats, actually let me know, send me an email. I think I even have a partner code or something like that. I can send you a link or something if you're interested. Chit Chats finally opened a location in London. Before this, I had to FedEx all my stuff to Burlington, Ontario. I am in Ontario, Canada. But they opened up a depot in London. But the truck only picks up on Tuesdays and Fridays. Well, Monday is the day that, you know, if we have a lot of orders to pack up from the weekend, then we need that whole day to get everything ready to go, because I need to get the box over to Chit Chats by 3:30 on Tuesday. So that's why I'm not recording until after 3 o'clock on Tuesday. Anyways, so yeah, if you ever have any questions about your orders, generally you will see postage being paid on things, and then it won't seem to move for a couple of days. And that's why, because we have to pay for things as we package and get them ready to go. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to keep track of whose orders are whose, and then they don't tend to go anywhere until Tuesday or Friday. So anyway, a little insider info there. All of that to say, I don't think Monday is going to work out to be a floss tube day. So I think I'm going to try really hard to do Tuesday afternoons. I really like the weekly format. I find it for myself, it's really fun to think of all the things that I get to work on that I can share with you again. And it's been really nice to get back into the routine. So if you're still here, hanging around, listening to me chat, thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks for your lovely comments and all of your kind wishes and beautiful emails, and just being a good friend. And on that note, I will say goodbye. I will be back next Tuesday. I hope that you're well. I hope that you're safe, and I hope that you have some stitching to enjoy for the rest of the week. And I'll see you next Tuesday. Take care, everybody. Happy stitching.